Hi, this is the Fiery Joker.
You need my help again?
No. I'm good. I'm good.
You sure?
Positive.
But Josh, his hair is amazing compared to yours. He's got the whole Samson thing going on.
Are you serious? His head looks like a freaking mop. I mean... Hades, can you please leave before you make me say something else to him that I'll regret?
Oh, I love it when I'm nasty. Oh, sweet Palutena, it looks so smooth. You know, the cross thing isn't exactly going to work with me, but I can read the signs. I'm not stupid. I'm out of here.
Jerry?
Josh?
Okay, look, about that response video. I didn't mean for it to go that far, and I just wanted to say... Ow! Jeez, what'd you do that for?
What? It's in the past.
Point taken. Now listen, there's something I want to... Ow! What was that for?
For the Canadian jokes. Really, you should be anticipating these by now.
Okay, fair enough. Now, as I was saying, I need your help to... What did I do that time?
Because it was funny. Rule of 3, Josh. Rule of 3.
Do you want to review this with me or not?
Sure, I'm game.
Thank you. You gonna keep your hands off that control pad?
We'll see.
Alright. Assuming there are no more delays, I can finally give you my collab review of Over... Son of a mother!
So, this episode opens with the main 6 riding a train into the desert that's showing quite a display of its horsepower.
Oh.
Applejack! Were you reading a bedtime story to an apple tree?
Applejack is so down to earth she can commune right with the plants themselves.
You've got a luxurious private sleeper car for a tree, while I am crowded and crammed in the same car with all the other ponies. How am I supposed to get my beauty sleep?
Move to another train car, Rarity!
This is Rarity we're talking about. She needs to be complaining about something or the episode's just not going to work at all.
Bloomberg's no baby. Don't let little Rarity make go all saddy-waddy. Bloomberg's a big and strong apple tree. Yes, he is.
I talk to my Gardevoir the same way in Pokemon X. Don't even, Josh.
It's little Rarity who's all saddy-waddy.
I'm having trouble deciding which of them is more undignified right now.
My little pony.
No, we're skipping the intro.
Why do you even acknowledge it? You can just edit it out. You don't have to mention it every single time.
Screw you and your logic! Let me complain! Sweet Gandhi's shining ball dome! They're still going! Don't they need rest stops or anything?
Faster than a speeding Pegasus! More powerful than that locomotive they're dragging!
Actually, that brings something to mind. Why is the train designed with an actual steam engine at the front when it's being pulled by earth ponies?
Well, given that the writer for this is originally a writer for South Park, who was probably put in there just for the sake of reactions like this.
Do you guys mind? I was up early fire roasting those snacks you're all eating and I'm pooped!
Speaking of, some of these popcorn kernels didn't get popped.
Seriously, Rainbow, you're really going to...
Just wait for it. Just wait for it, Josh. It'll be glorious. Just wait.
Okay, fine.
We'll have to carry that heavy tree all the way from the train to the orchard. What tree? You mean Bloomberg?
No, Fluttershy.
Fluttershy's not a tree, silly.
What happened next? Well, in Ponyville, they say that the brony's 5th most annoying meme grew 10 sizes that day.
You know she's not a tree, right?
She's not a tree, Dashy. I'd like to be a tree.
For Pete's sake!
Well, that was kind of huffy.
Huffy the Magic Dragon.
I understood that reference.
Sorry, I tend to snore a bit. Good night.
Rockabye Spikey in the treetop. When you awake, you'll be the subject of glop. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and all the shippers won't care at all.
Why did you take this innocent scene and make it creepy for no reason?
Oh, please. You should see what Tumblr's doing with Frozen.
So it's the next morning, and a stampede of buffalo appears and attacks the train.
Ooh, now they're doing tricks! Now do a backflip!
Pinky, you're a moron.
I just want to know... Hey! I'm talking to you!
Oh, great, Pinky, you f***ing missed it. What the f***? Oh, come on. You're flutter censoring my swears too?
My video, my rules.
You motherfucker.
Pardon?
I called you a motherfucker, you asshole.
Sorry, didn't quite catch that. You'll have to speak up.
Punch!
Why do all of my call-out partners have to cause me pain?
Because your pain is funny!
Touche.
I've got you now!
Wait, all they were trying to do was get that car at the end? That plan made no sense! What was the point of attacking the ponies pulling the train when they were easily able to keep up with it, then have that small buffalo jump on the front car just so she could hop onto the back car to disconnect it? This all seems pointlessly elaborate.
Actually, it isn't, and I can explain why this elaborate scene makes perfect sense.
Oh, really? Regale me, Sherlock.
That animation was fucking awesome.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty cool.
They got Bluebird!
No, Bloomberg! You were taken from us far too young!
And Spike!
Right, Spike. He's important too. Spike. Here's an interesting setup. Imagine if you were Twilight, you just had your own son kidnapped, and you come off the train to...
Welcome to Appaloosa!
Brayburn, listen.
Cousin Applejack, mind your manners. You have yet to introduce me to your compadres. Shame on you.
Brayburn, listen.
Shut up, woman! Brayburn is talking, as he is the only man in Appaloosa, and in the land of ponies, Clydesdale equals Budweiser equals men, for only men are worthy enough to drink that watery horse piss called beer!
That made absolutely no sense.
Neither does this entire fucking character!
Something terrible's happened.
Terrible is right. Your train is a full 7 minutes late. That's 7 minutes less for you to delight in the pleasures and wonders of Appaloosa.
Is that gonna be his thing? Just shouting Appaloosa like a bad stereotype?
Probably!
And as you can see, we have all of the finest comforts, like horse-drawn carriages.
Okay, you pull now. Ah, we just switched.
Genius! And here's our local watering hole, the Salt Block. That's enough salt for you!
Can't I at least get a glass of water?
Salt makes ponies drunk?
It's funny because horse puns. Okay, in all seriousness, the timing on these jokes is brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. It's got a really good rapid-fire delivery. Doesn't hang too long on a given joke in the hopes that the audience will get it. It just moves on to the next one and just expects you to get it. Much more well-paced than—
Don't mention that video.
And here's the most wonderful sight in all of Appaloosa, our apple orchard.
Oh, I'm sorry, don't you mean your apple orchard?
You have a very nice town and all, but we have a huge problem.
Oh, for the love of... Why can't anyone pronounce words normally?
Because they have southern accents.
No, really, I want an explanation for this, because so far it's just...
You'll get nothing and like it!
Feet of buffalo. They took Spike! Rainbow Dash went after them. And we can't find Pinkie Pie.
Did you say buffalo?
Okay, is this guy bipolar or something? He starts off more energetic than Pinkie Pie to looking like he's passing a kidney stone to Somber all in the span of 5 minutes.
What a try.
Them buffalo, they want us saddler ponies to take every single tree you see here.
Okay, seriously, does every cartoon that runs on Flash have to do that panning movement at one point or another? It's not clever or unique. In fact, sometimes it's kind of distracting.
I actually really like panning shots like this. I'm a big animation buff, and seeing things like this really shows the effort that the animators are taking into their work. I don't know if you've ever worked with Flash, but it is a really temperamental bitch to work with. So being able to get shots like this, it's nice. It's nice to see.
And for all their dedication, we still get Cockeyes, Cyclops, Misplaced Cutie Marks, and more recently, four-legged Forza drill kicks.
What did I just say about Flash being temperamental?
So Rainbow Dash and Pinky try to save Spike, but get caught.
Stop! Dash, Pinky, sup? They're cool.
If you say so, Spike. Catch you later, bro.
Clearly they are members of the Catch You Later Bro tribe?
Ah, yes. My people fought with them long before the white man came.
Seems they took me by mistake. Fortunately, they totally respect dragons, so they treat me like an honored guest.
Did you forget we were ripping off Pocahontas and switched to Mulan? That I must have missed that part in history class where natives worship dragons.
Hang on a second. Hey, Tanya, did we ever once worship dragons? Okay, thanks. Liars!
Still don't like ponies much, though, but you're with me.
Wow, Rainbow didn't eat the food. That's incredibly disrespectful.
Have you ever had native food? It's awful. You can't get a burger to save your life in Oklahoma.
But Pinky's eating it.
And that should be the green light to run the f away. Look at that shit. What do you think that is? What does it look like? Is her mind as in the gutter as mine is?
I think it's time they met Chief Thunderhooves.
We have a long and winding stampeding trail that we have run upon for many generations.
Okay, something's bugging me. Why do the buffalo have to be wearing native garb? I mean, they're distinct enough from the ponies simply by being a different size and species altogether, so you could easily have the visual contrast of the two imply there are cultural differences between them for the episode. But they go all the way and put them in teepees and a war bonnet and refer to their leader as Chief. And there's really no reason for it. Why are they doing this?
Because Lauren Faust is making this.
What?
Okay, let me elaborate. Lauren Faust is a great producer and a great animator. I love all of her work. Well, most of them. Well, some of them. Two of them. She's a great producer, a great cartoonist, and a great storyteller.
Okay, disclaimer, we get it. Why is she the reason that this is such an awkward character design?
You see, Lauren Faust is many things, but subtle isn't one of them. When she decided to create a radical feminist for a Powerpuff Girls episode, her end result was an MRA's wet dream come true. And here's no exception. The entire first season suffers from some very awkward writing style that screams a lack of subtlety in the executive producer. It wasn't enough to let the visual disparity of the buffalo and the settler pony show their meaning. They had to hammer it into something everyone would instantly recognize. It's why there are so many "why didn't you do this" moments in episodes like Feeling Pinky Keen and Ghostbusters. All the logical decisions were shoved aside to serve the awkward storytelling.
So you're saying...
The show's writing got monumentously better after she left.
Jerry, do you try to get people to hate you?
No. I'm not saying she's a bad producer. She is an ungraceful producer. She can weave a tale, build a world, and create characters, but she just can't work a story. She's like the George Lucas of children's cartoons.
I'm never gonna run out of this, am I? So we cut to Chief Thunderhooves, who tells Rainbow Dash and Pinky about the story of their sacred stampeding grounds.
My father stampeded upon these grounds, and his father before him, and his father before him.
My father took a dump right over there, and his father before him, and his father before him. Those dumps fertilize the soil with which we grow the food to make our gruel. You are
Jerry,
eating the products of years and years and generations.
Jerry!
But what?
This is getting weird!
It is a sacred tradition to run the path every year. But this year, these settler ponies, these Appaloosans.
Why can't anyone say the name of that town normally?
See, Rainbow Dash? They had a good reason to...
I'll say they had a good reason.
Wait a minute. What? Putting aside the elephant in the room, this one. The settlers aren't raising the land and burning it and destroying you as a people. The settlers have been shown to be using the stampeding grounds as farmland to grow their food. You know, food. That one thing that we all need in order to survive. I'm sorry, but if I was supposed to pick a side here, I would honestly be on the side of the settler ponies. Survival and food take priority over some sacred stampeding ground. It's like if you have one patch of land and you have to choose between building a church and building a farm. I think Jesus would understand here, guys!
Okay, well, I agree with that somewhat. I think it's still fair to give them some sort of compensation for it.
Compensation for what? It's a patch of land with nothing built on it. They just run through it every day.
I don't know, maybe cut a line through the orchard that the buffalo could run through?
Oh, get real, Josh. When has My Little Pony ever taken the sensible option?
Gently, please.
I close my eyes and that's Tabitha St. Germain talking to me. Then I open my eyes and it's Rarity. And that's not as good.
Try telling that to your entire audience.
My audience doesn't do that.
There are two types of bronies, Josh. Those who clop, and liars.
Said a brony.
We're getting off the subject.
We have to be ready for a long hike into buffalo territory if we're gonna save them. Let's go!
Hi, guys. Pinky.
Go, fanfiction writers! To your keyboards!
Corner, now.
We brought our new pal Little Strongheart here to explain to the Appaloosans why they should move the apple trees off Buffalo land.
That information will be quite helpful.
That's weird, because my cousin Brayburn here wants to explain to the buffalo why they should let the apple trees stay.
That would be a useful thing to... The land is theirs.
What the heck, guys? Let the two of them speak. They seem pretty open to negotiations.
Sorry, but this is a Equestria version of Tumblr. No calm negotiations are allowed.
That's not true. You can have calm negotiations on Tumblr.
You sishead scum!
There must be something we can do. Hey, I've got an idea.
So, does Peaky's idea involve sensible negotiations and talking through problems like adults? Does it involve a sensible solution at all? She starts singing, doesn't she?
You gotta share, you gotta care. It's the right thing to do. All this fighting gets you nothing but huff and mouth disease.
Ah, that's lovely. Can you imagine what happened when the kids heard that?
Daddy, what's hoof and mouth disease? It's an illness that rots away the hooves and mouth of little ponies, turning them from the happy, adorable, fun-loving scamps they are into a gibbering, crippled, infectious lump of flesh and bones until they finally die a slow and painful death. This moment brought to you by...
You gotta share, you gotta care.
You know, putting aside how heart-meltingly adorable Courtesan Pinkie Pie is...
That was the worst performance we've ever seen.
My thoughts exactly, Chief. My thoughts exactly.
So it appears that the settlers and natives are going to war. Go ahead.
Montage time!
Savages, savages, even rebels! Kill them! Savages, savages, what are we waiting for? Destroy their evil race until there's not a trace. And now we sound the drum.
If we could just sit down and talk, we could...
Is that the I don't want to talk grunt, or the I really had to take a shit grunt?
You seem remarkably obsessed with poop jokes lately.
I got Angry Video Game Nerd Adventures a few days ago. You know, I'm noticing a lack of female buffalo. How exactly do they reproduce?
Not true. Little Strongheart is female.
Oh, that poor little buffalo.
I know you don't want to do this.
What would you have me do, Rainbow Dash?
Talk about it with them! Discuss! Negotiate! Compromise! Or some other political words that they were completely willing to do earlier! You weird alien beef Cherokee crossover!
At noon, it will be too late.
Ah, red and white, just like the colors of...
What? No, I'm not singing the national anthem.
But you're from there. It's your patriotic duty.
We in Canada do not hold the national anthem nor the flag in the same high regard that you Americans do. We are more humble and down to earth.
I'll give you some Tim Hortons coffee. So the buffalo arrived like the Huns 1 minute before the chief said he would attack. And it's the fastest minute ever when the chief is at the crossroads of deciding the fate of 2 races. Oh wow, this is surprisingly very subtle. All the emotions are conveyed in the...
You gotta share, you gotta care.
Oh, come on, Pinky! Come the freak on! It was already over! It was about to be put aside for good! Why did you jump into a conflict that was already over and done with and drag it back into the limelight again?
Yeah, don't you just hate it when that happens?
Said I was sorry. Well, he came in like a wreck.
No! And in case you missed it the first time, hell no!
Okay, seriously? I make fun of your nationality and your ethnicity, and that's the thing you consider off limits?
Josh, I'm not the patriotic type. I'm also not one for ethnic pride. But when you give attention to Miley Cyrus, you are killing the art of music, murdering it! As Lewis has told you, the pie war has grown ferocious.
You watched VeggieTales?
Yeah.
I love you. No homo.
I love you too, Josh. All of the homo. There's no joke that we can make that fully emphasizes the brilliance of that moment. Seriously, this moment is so funny that you need to watch the whole episode right now to fully comprehend the genius that is Dave Polsky's comedic writing. As in, now you fussy plebs. Oh, and of course, the Americans are also selflessly heroic. It makes me want to puke.
Was that a compliment or an insult?
I don't know!
Wait, he just gets hit with a pie and he's out for the count? Is this some sort of equestrian war rule that if you're hit in the face with a pie that you lose or something? Man, we need that kind of rule in the real world. So the ponies actually take the sensible solution and cut down a path through the orchard.
We will allow the apple orchard to stay in exchange for a share of its fruit.
Moral of the story, kids, is...
Pies are awesome!
I was gonna say that cooperation and compromise are preferable alternatives to open violence.
My version's better.
Even the worst of enemies can become friends. You need understanding and compromise. You've got to share. You've got to care.
Hey! That's what I said!
You almost got a town level, Pinky. You sit the f*** down.
And that's over a barrel. You know, for an episode dealing with settlers and natives, and considering the less than positive reaction this episode received, I was expecting this episode to bomb, but surprisingly it didn't.
What do you mean, less than positive reaction?
Well, people really got on this episode for inaccurately portraying the conflict between settlers and natives during colonial times in America, and I don't understand why. This episode was ironically more faithful than most adaptations, considering they said that both sides were at fault as a result of failing to communicate and understand the other.
Oh, yeah, I could see how that could play out.
How?
Well, you see, it's kind of like... You know how there are some Jewish people who sort of have a monumentous persecution complex as a result of the Holocaust?
I've witnessed examples.
Well, imagine that multiplied by 1,000, but without the justification of the event being recent enough for there to still be survivors alive today. Unfortunately, there will always be a portion of the native population that's going to get really upset if the settlers are portrayed any less evil than Hitler. Putting aside the fact that that kind of portrayal is a blatant misrepresentation of history, playing out an episode like this makes the genocide of the native people look, however indirectly, as a result of an actual war, instead of the dedicated attempt to massacre an entire race of people that we like to think it was. Both sides were idiots. The settlers just won the fight.
So you're saying we all need to bury the tomahawk?
Pretty much. I mean, what has continued to grind this axe gotten us?
It hasn't retaken the land that was taken by the settlers. It hasn't resurrected any of those people. So why should shows like this, using historical settings to teach a good lesson, be any kind of issue? Even if you could prove that Over a Barrel misrepresented history, it's not going to make the lesson of mutual give and take and friendly compromise as workable solutions to solving a problem any less of a good lesson. I mean, do we really want to teach our kids that people were assholes throughout history, so they might as well be one too, just so some people can continue stroking their massive victim mentality? That's just irresponsible. We want to raise better generations, not drag them down in our bullshit.
Jerry, eat a Snickers.
Why?
You get a little long-winded and preachy when you're hungry. Better?
Better. This episode was hilarious. Oh god, it stuck the roof of my mouth.
Dave Polsky has habitually shown himself to be a great comedic writer, and it shows in this episode. His typical fast-paced physical humor comes out, and we get some creative verbal gags and visual puns, almost like this is a cartoon or something.
As I've already said, anyone who whines about the symbolism in this episode really needs to lighten up. It's a children's show. You can't portray political and territorial conflicts the way they likely happen. You'll terrorize the poor sods. And the actual use of real-world cultures when they really didn't need to is a little jarring, but as it stands on its own, it's a really funny and entertaining episode that teaches the valuable lesson of mutual compromise, as opposed to aggressive winner-take-all, two-man enter, one-man leads conflict.
Sure, characters had less idiotic moments, sometimes the lack of subtlety can get annoying, and the plot isn't the most original thing in the world. But as it is, it's definitely one of the better episodes. I'm the Fiery Joker.
I'm Ballspawn.
And I think we can put this feud to rest, right, Jerry?
Tactical nuke incoming! Why does he ask you? Once the engine didn't know all the things that he knows now, but the engine he sure learned a lot, and it's all from asking how. We translate for you. Gundam means what Gundam means, and Gundam means that When did he first say oh? When did he first say oh? In the engine book it say when first break married squaw, he came out with heap big oh when he saw his mother-in-law.